What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
Yes. Good evening. Making sure the levels are all good. Perfect. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Everything Lowery show, the second show of 2025. Welcome. Apologies for the delay of getting on stream. I've just literally come out of the cinema and I've watched my first early screening of the year, and you know the trains and getting back and whatnot were slightly delayed. So but yeah, my apologies, but I do appreciate you guys tuning in and chilling with me tonight. So yeah, what's good, people? I see you guys in the building. Thank you for joining. How's everyone doing, man? How's everyone doing tonight? All right, so for tonight's show, I'm going to be discussing some lawsuits that have happened over this past week. One with Disney and one with Apple TV Plus. Then we're going to get into some details with the Supergirl production, which has officially started this week. So I'm going to get into that. Severance season 2. They dropped some dope stuff that happened this week, so I'm going to play some of that later tonight. And then we're going to end. Oh, and then we're going to talk about Daredevil, which is the new Marvel television show coming out. I want to say like March. So the new trailer dropped. Oh yeah, guys. Unfortunately, I won't be able to play trailers anymore on my live because I keep getting like thousands of emails for copyright. So I'll just have to have pictures from now on and just explain what I've watched. So my apologies. And then yeah, we're going to end on The Wolfman, which is the film that I've just come out of the cinema watching. Fresh, comes out in cinemas tomorrow. Now, normally I do see films a bit earlier, but for some strange reason, Universal decided to have the UK early screening for this movie tonight. So yeah, that's why I'm late. So we're going to get into the first story, and it's a sad one before I get into the main news. And yeah, as it says on screen, David Lynch sadly has passed away at the age of 78. This news literally pinged on my phone as soon as I sat down in my seat in the cinema. And yeah, David Lynch is an absolute legend in the cinema industry. You know, most known for his films like Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet, as it says here on screen. I think he's like one of the few directors that have had like the most groundbreaking contribution to cinema, but have never won an Oscar, which is so strange. It's just baffling why that has happened, but the Academy is the Academy. Obviously, people bring up his Dune movie that he released in the early 80s, and you know, he outwardly says he never wants to see that film again. Some people like it, some people, you know, don't like it. Of course, with the new Dune movies recently, that has absolutely blown that universe to another level. But I just wanted to start the show just by saying rest in peace to David Lynch, man. He is an absolute visionary when it came in the cinema world. So many directors, you know, he as they say in the rapper world, he's like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. David Lynch is your favorite director's favorite director. So I just wanted to touch on that. Anyone who's watched any of his movies, just let me know in the chat, you know, what your favorite movies from David Lynch are. If you haven't watched any of his movies, as it says on screen, Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet are probably his most known films. But yeah, rest in peace to David Lynch. All right, cool. So we're going to get into the first story for tonight. And yeah, it's to do with Moana. And yeah, Moana is apparently being sued. Well, Disney, sorry, not Moana. She can't be sued because she's a animated character. But yeah, Disney are being sued for Moana. So they face a $10 billion lawsuit to do with plagiarism. So I'll just go through. So this has been posted by Sky News, but major publications earlier this week all went through it. But yeah, so animator Buck Woodall has filed a lawsuit against Disney, claiming that the beloved animated film Moana and its sequel plagiarized elements from his long-standing projects called Bucky. Woodall alleges that Disney's hit franchise borrowed heavily from his screenplay, character designs, and story elements developed as early as the 2000s or the early 2000s. In the lawsuit filed in a Californian federal court, Woodall asserts that he shared detailed materials for Bucky, including storyboards, production plans, and a trailer with Jenny Marchick, the then director of the development at Mandeville Films in 2003. It also says here, one second. It also says here that so Woodall is seeking damages of at least $10 billion, citing alleged similarities between Moana and Bucky. And then he goes to list that there's a lot of similarities between Moana and his production of Bucky, and they include a protagonist who defies parental warnings and undertakes a perilous journey across the Polynesian waters. The central theme of Bucky has spiritual ancestors manifesting as animals, story elements including a turtle as the protagonist's guide, a symbolic necklace, a demigod character with a giant hook and tattoos, and a mountain concealing a massive creature. And then the lawsuit also highlights similarities in Moana 2, released last year in November, claiming that it borrowed specific visual elements from Bucky. One striking example is the use of a perilous whirlpool-like oceanic portal, which Woodall insists was unique to his original work. I mean, this is a lot of plagiarism accusations for Disney. I mean, Moana is a much loved animated film. Like, the kids love Moana, the adults love Moana, and quite surprising to hear this come out, because you would think like Disney, the majority of their productions are unique to them. Like they are the leaders when it comes to animated films and pushing narrative, and it's quite surprising that this story's come out. It also says here that director Ron Clements, one of the creators of Moana, has reportedly denied any connection between the film and Woodall's work, stating that it was in no way inspired by his materials. There is a legal battle going on at the moment, but what I will say is that this case does raise questions about intellectual property rights and the creative processes behind major studio productions. Now, I mean, I kind of believe that that Buck Woodall brought this story to someone, because his story was apparently written way before Moana was ever produced, and there just seems to be a lot of similarities, and Disney have just kind of twisted it a bit to make it look like it's been Disney-fied. So I'm just looking in the comments here. Was he British? Oh, so I think you're alluding to David Lynch. No, David Lynch is American. He was an American director. That's it. Mulholland Drive. That was the film I was trying to come up with earlier. Was definitely my favorite film of David Lynch. Is this like The Matrix? Well, I was going to add that in the past there have been some major productions that have been, cited as copyright infringement. So Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar, was accused of copyright infringement by British artist Roger Dean. Dean claimed that the film's visual elements, particularly its lush floating landscapes, were directly inspired by his artwork. In 2013, he filed a lawsuit seeking $50 million in damages. However, the court dismissed the case, citing there was insufficient evidence to support these claims. The Matrix, like you said in the comments, yes, The Matrix has had 2 plagiarism lawsuits. The first one in 2003, Sophia Stewart's claim. Writer Sophia Stewart alleged that the Wachowskis had used ideas from her manuscript, The Third Eye, in both Matrix and the Terminator series, but the case was dismissed in 2005, again, due to lack of evidence. And The Lion King, which I recently found, when I say recent, I want to say like in the last 2-3 years, where The Lion King faced allegations of plagiarism due to its similarities to a Japanese anime series called Kimba the White Lion. Now, when you watch this, sorry, it just came up. Yeah, when you watch this Simba the White Lion, it's like Lion King is like carbon copy, like for like. And both work features, lion protagonists on a journey to reclaim their rightful place. There are notable parallels between different characters. But despite these similarities, Disney have denied any inspirations from Kimba. But no formal lawsuit was brought forward. And yeah, it's just been a topic of discussion between people within the film business or anyone who's seen it online. So yeah, The Lion King, The Matrix, and Avatar have all faced plagiarism suits, and we're now seeing a new one in 2025 for Moana. Anyone in the chat watch Moana 2? I've not watched it yet. But yeah, that is the quick, well, not quick, but that's the update currently on Disney being sued for plagiarism for Moana 1 and Moana 2. They're also coming out with a live action Moana, which I'm gonna, I think it's either finished or in production at the moment. But yeah, let's see how this goes. Of course, if more news becomes available, I'll be bringing it to you guys live on this show. All right, cool. So the next story for tonight is another lawsuit that I came across earlier this week, and it's to do with M. Night Shyamalan. I always pronounce his name incorrectly, but he is also facing a copyright trial over his Apple TV Plus show Servant. Now, Servant was one of the early Apple TV Plus shows that kind of kicked things off for the streaming platform. And it was to do with this family, a married couple, man and woman, who sadly lost their kid, but then they get, I can't remember the right term for this, but they get, those babies that are like real life babies to help with the trauma of losing a kid. But then the mum becomes extremely attached to this baby, and then from there, I think they hire in a nanny. I watched this so long ago that the story is just like so fragmented. But I remember them hiring a nanny, and then the nanny is kind of a bit supernatural and a little bit strange. And from there, things just escalate to a whole completely different show from what it started from. There are like loads of religious elements in it and other things going on. I want to say there was like 4 seasons. There were a load of episodes. But yeah. So M. Night is being sued for $81 million. 81 million. Jeez, that's a lot of money. I just need one of those millions. It's one of those millions. But So yeah, director M. Night Shyamalan and Apple are at the center of a high-profile trial after allegations that Apple TV Plus series Servant copied elements from the 2013 indie film The Truth About Emmanuel, directed by Francesca Guerrigini. The case taking place in federal court, Riverside, California, sees Guerrigini seeking $81 million in damages for alleged copyright infringement. Same thing that we were just speaking about with Disney, copyright infringement. Key allegations present clips from both Servant and Emmanuel's the film to the jurors, arguing that both works depict strikingly similar narratives. The stories revolve around a delusional mother who cares for a doll as if it was her real baby. That was it. It was a doll. She cares for it as it's her real child. And a nanny who becomes complicit in the delusion. And basically they're saying this is a simple case. There would be no Servant if there's no Emmanuel movie. So yeah, that's where they're currently at the moment. What else did it say here? Apple do say that that there are key differences between the projects, noting that Servant is a supernatural thriller, while Emmanuel is more of a coming-of-age drama. Additionally, she emphasized that there was freedom to draw on real-world concepts in Servant, such as a therapeutic doll used for grief counseling as an inspiration, rather than what's happened in the coming-of-age story with Emmanuel. The trial's going on right now, but it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds, because they probably have more of a claim because there was nothing prior to the Emmanuel movie coming out. And then when that comes out, we see Servant many years later. And I would feel a type of way, you know, if you put something out and someone takes your work and then tries to twist it in their own form, gets the backing of Apple, gets the backing of M. Night, I would feel a type of way. I would assume there's going to be more people involved in terms of that, like the writers, where did Apple buy the story from and whatnot. But of course, Apple and M. Night are two massive names in the tech and the film industry. So of course they're going to grab their headlines. But I expect this to develop more as the weeks go by, or months, or however long this court case takes. That's a shame because I enjoyed Servant. Yeah, you know what? I did enjoy Servant, but then it for me, it became too muddled in what I was watching at the time. And the nature of what I do, if I miss literally like 1 or 2 episodes of something, then, you know, I'm never gonna, well, not never, but it's gonna take me a long time to revisit it, because I just get screeners, or like tonight going to a screening all the time. So there just isn't time to catch up. But I did hear it ended well. Heard it was rubbish. Oh, why not? Are we getting to a point when ideas are being replicated without knowing? The thing with art is that you're always going to have inspiration from something that you've, like, if you're a painter, if you're a poet, if you're a musician, you're always going to be inspired by what you like. It becomes an issue where, you know, you create what you want to create inspired by someone, but then it's like 90% of them. I don't think you should do that. It's kind of like ChatGPT. It's like, it should be a tool. Your inspiration should be a tool to help you to get to where you want to go in your own way. You shouldn't see something and say, yeah, just because I can get the backing of Apple and M. Night, I can now go and steal that. And because this is a way smaller production, no one's going to care about it. But you'll see so many films that are copied, especially stories from anime. You've got South Korean films that are always being borrowed from, and vice versa. You know, you've got Western films that are copied in the UK, like Mean Machine. That was a copycat of The Longest Yard. But again, it was inspired by The Longest Yard, but it was done in a very British way. So you are going to get a lot of similarities in this movie industry. But I think when it comes to a point where you're just outright copying and just changing one or two things, then yeah. Subconsciously, how do we know our ideas are our own? Great question. I don't know. I actually don't know. Not unless you're Kanye or someone who says he's Steve Jobs. Then yeah, no, that is a great question. I think everyone, if you're someone who pays attention to a lot of media, if you read a lot of books, I think it's in human nature to be inspired by someone else. I watch many people on YouTube, or I watch a film, or I'll just listen to someone speak about something, and that inspires me. But what I don't do is take what they do and copy 99% of that and then just add the 1%, say, oh, mine was different. But that is a great question. But yeah, that was about M. Night being sued for his Servant television series on Apple TV Plus. And yeah, like I said before in the previous news story, when more information becomes available, I'll be bringing it to you guys live on the Everything Lowery show. All right, so we're going to take it to the next story. And thank you guys for being in the chat. I'm seeing loads of comments. If you haven't already, like the stream. It helps boost the stream way more. Like I said before, my previous streams, I hate playing this algorithm game. It's not fun. It takes the fun out of stuff. But, I'm looking to grow this channel. I'm looking to take things to the next level, and a like and subscribing to the channel helps out a lot. So I really appreciate it. So yeah. All right, cool. We are taking it to the third or fourth story of the night, and it's to do with Supergirl. So let's get my notes here. So yeah, so filming has officially begun on the next DCU movie called Supergirl. So it's called Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This is the highly anticipated movie set in the new DC universe. It's going to be directed by Craig Gillespie, and the film stars Millie Alcock as Kara Zor-El, also known as Supergirl. And production is on the way, is happening right now at Warner Bros. Studios in Leavesden in the United Kingdom. It's going to be based on the 2021-2022 DC comic series by the same name by Tom King and Bill Skarsgård. The film screenplay is going to be penned by Anna Nogueira. I hope I pronounced their name correctly. The movie is going to explore Supergirl's journey across the galaxy on her 21st birthday, accompanied by Krypto the Superdog, and along the way she encounters Ruth. I hope I pronounced that as well. A young woman who leads Supergirl down a deadly path of vengeance. So this year we're getting the Superman film. The trailer came out around Christmas time, and I really like that trailer. And apparently Supergirl is supposed to feature in that Superman film, even though we haven't seen her in the trailer. Krypto the dog has already been featured in the trailer, so we know something's going to happen at the end of Superman where Krypto is going to go off somewhere and, I don't know, and help Supergirl. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Oh, sorry. We also have a cast that includes Jason Momoa, who's going to portray the villainous Lobo. So he was announced again towards the end of last year that he's going to be joining James Gunn's DCU. He played Aquaman in the Zack Snyderverse, but obviously we saw how that ended. But he is coming back to DC. So he is going to be playing Lobo, who is a villain that I'm not going to pretend here and say I know much about. But I've seen some really cool photos. He looks really cool. And apparently there's different power sets where he has similar powers to Superman. There's been other iterations where he doesn't, but he can get around fighting Superman. I don't know, but I am excited to see Jason Momoa as a villain. I liked him in the recent Fast and Furious movie. And originally, actually, Jason Momoa was supposed to play Lobo, but then they said, "Nah, you're going to play Aquaman," and the rest is history. Supergirl yawn. Wait, you're not feeling Supergirl at all? Who is Superman? So Superman's being played by David Cornsweet. So he's taking over Henry, which is going to be big shoes to fill because I felt Henry is was a great Superman. He wasn't the best Clark Kent, but he was a solid Superman. So yeah, David's got some big shoes to fill. But yeah, so Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is slated to release on the 26th of June in 2026. And this will be part of the first chapter of the DCU. They've got their own universe called Gods and Monsters. And this will be the second feature film set in that DCU universe. So, yeah, again, look, DC and Marvel, they've had this battle in the new age of cinema. Marvel absolutely obliterated the DC universe with their MCU. Of course, Marvel right now is on a bit of a downward spiral, but things are starting to pick up with like Deadpool, Loki, and other productions. But this is a fresh start for the DC universe. So, there's a lot riding on that Superman film releasing later this year. And I think that film needs to be a solid film, and it also needs to make a lot of money. So it'll be interesting to see the effects, because if it's filming, for the next 6 months, if Superman comes out and depending on the reception it gets, do they make any alterations to Supergirl midway through production? We don't know. But I have faith in James Gunn. He did a fantastic job with the Guardians trilogy, and he left it in a great way. I like his directing skill. He's done a great job with the early DCU stuff that we've seen. He's been the head. So basically, James Gunn is the Kevin Feige for Warner Bros. And DC. We've seen recent Creature Commandos, the Suicide Squad with Idris Elba. I thought that was a solid movie. You've got Peacemaker, which features John Cena. So James Gunn has definitely been up in the levels when it comes to the DC universe. And hopefully, Superman's a good film and Supergirl's a good film. I think we definitely need DC to step up. We've also got the Batman, the Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves Batman universe on the side there. There are also rumors if, Robert Pattinson will be the DCU Batman, because at first it was stated that it's going to be 2 separate stories. So we will see. But yeah, that was just a quick update on Supergirl beginning production here in the UK. Everything seems to be filming in the UK at the moment. I mentioned this on my stream with Real M on Monday, that Pinewood Studios right now, you can't book a slot because Disney and other productions have taken over the whole lot. Warner Bros, I think Harry Potter starting to shoot soon, Mission Impossible shooting. So the UK right now is, in terms of the top end of cinema, doing very well. So yeah. All right, cool. We're going to take it to what's happening here now? Ad blocker. What's going on with ad blocker? All right, cool. Cool. All right. We're going to take it to Daredevil Born Again. Henry Cavill all day. Yeah, Henry Cavill is a great Superman. And like I said, David Cornsweet has big shoes to fill. So so we had the trailer of Daredevil Born Again. Now, has anyone in the chat watched the Netflix, originally the Netflix Daredevil series? One of the best TV series to release in the past, I'd say 10 years. I think it went on for 2-3 seasons, and it was dark, it was gritty, a lot of emotion. Charlie Cox is fantastic as Daredevil. Then you had the integration of Punisher. Then you had Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin in there. It was just amazing. And then Disney released Disney Plus. And then they said to Netflix, yo, we are not re-signing the agreement because we want Daredevil, we want Luke Cage, we want Iron Fist, we want all of your Marvel properties on Disney Plus. So this Daredevil series was in limbo because we didn't know what was going to happen when Disney Plus came out. Were they going to continue the story? Were they going to replace and completely refresh everything? Because after Endgame, they could have just refreshed everything. But no, Disney decided to continue with Daredevil. So we had the first trailer release. What's happening here now? Yeah, sorry. We had the first trailer release earlier this week, and it looks fantastic. And like I said earlier, guys, I can't play the trailer because I'm getting emails left, right, and center for copyright. But I'll just give you a brief synopsis on the upcoming Daredevil series. So the Daredevil series is set to premiere in March on Disney Plus. We see the return of Matt Murdock, who's played by Charlie Cox, and he's reprising the iconic role of Daredevil that we watched in on the Netflix series. We have Vincent D'Onofrio returning as Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin, and I think them two. Vincent D'Onofrio is one of my favorite actors, by the way, and his performance as the Kingpin is outstanding. Like his balance between him and Charlie Cox just works so well throughout the series. For those of you who don't know what Daredevil is or who Daredevil is, he's kind of like a Batman. He's like a vigilante. He leans more towards good, but he's not like an out and out superhero like you would see like an Iron Man or a Captain America. He's more street level. So he fights a lot more street level villains compared to like the Thanoses and all those type of villains. But this series is going to pick up with Matt Murdock juggling his busy legal career. So he is a lawyer and a vigilante with his relentless fight for justice. Meanwhile, his old foe Wilson Fisk has entered the political arena. So he's now becoming mayor of New York City. And basically both characters will face a dangerous collision as their pasts resurface. So I think as we in the trailer, Matt Murdock, he's put Daredevil behind him. He's no longer Daredevil, but certain things happen in the series where he has to return to being Daredevil. Also in the series, we have Deborah Ann Woll and Eldon Henson returning as Karen Page and Foggy Nelson. The rumors were that when this was first in production for Disney Plus, they didn't have Deborah Ann Woll returning as Karen Page, and also they were going to kill Foggy Nelson in like the first 2 episodes. This was these were all rumors, but those two are like his right and left hand. Like they made his character in the series, so I'm glad that they brought them back for a proper series rather than trying to kill them off. I don't know if that idea was legit. I don't know who thought of that. We also have John Bernthal reprising his role as Frank Castle, aka the Punisher. And the Punisher rivals the Daredevil TV series. I absolutely love the Punisher. And John Bernthal, for me, is such an underrated actor. He's so underrated, and I can't wait to see him back as the Punisher. Just catching up with chat. So is that a new Daredevil? Yeah, so this is basically going to continue where the Netflix series left off. And yeah, it's just going to be a totally new story. Is the Kingpin the same yet? So Vincent D'Onofrio is returning back to play the Kingpin. If you haven't watched Daredevil, it's on Disney Plus now. So I think they managed to get it from Netflix. So Luke Cage, all of those guys are on there as well. And I'm going to be watching this soon to recap on everything. But this is one of the best TV series, one of the best. Not, I can't even say comic book because that's just, it doesn't do it justice. If you take the comic book element out of this series, it's still a fantastic show. So, guys, yeah, if you haven't watched it, watch Daredevil. We haven't got oh yeah, we do have a date. It's the 4th of March. So very soon. This is coming out literally less than 2 months. So yeah, let me know in the chat what you guys think about Daredevil. But yeah, just thought I'd bring this to you guys because the trailer looked amazing. And if you haven't watched the trailer, definitely watch it. All right, cool. We are on the last story for tonight before I get into my review of The Wolfman. And I'm just getting up here now. So earlier this week, Apple decided to do something that I've not seen them do this before. And it's for one of my favorite television shows of recent years. And it's for Severance season 2. And what they did is they had the official cast of Severance participate in a viral marketing stunt in the middle of Grand Central Station in New York City. And it was like in a glass box, it just happened. Like no one knew this was going to happen. And this for me was absolutely, it's just so fitting for the television series. And I've not seen this style or this energy of marketing for ages. Normally when a movie or a TV show releases, it's just like, here you go. There you go. Just watch it. But this tells me that they know season 2 is a banger. And I've not watched season 2, guys. Apple, I'm upset because you didn't give me season 2. But I can't wait to watch it because it releases tomorrow on Apple TV. But yeah, this they had a stunt in the middle of Grand Central, and I just thought it was amazing. So I'm just going to play a snippet from what happened. I'm going to mute my mic. Now, guys, if you haven't watched Severance, I keep saying this to people who haven't watched Severance. You're playing yourself. It's one of the best television series in the past 5 years. And when it was announced that season 2 was happening, I was a little upset because I thought, you know what, this is such a groundbreaking television series. They should have just left it as a one and done. But this marketing here, I am super excited for it. I cannot wait for season 2 of Severance. If you haven't watched it before, it basically follows a character. Let me try and explain it without ruining it, because it really is the surprise of the show which elevates it to the next level. So Mark, who's played by Adam Scott, who's this character here, he joins a company in which he goes through a severance program, which basically means when you go to work, only your work brain is working. So everything about your personal life, your wife, your kids, what you did with your friends the night before, did you play blackjack, did you watch your football match, anything that you do outside of work, you have no recollection in the workplace. And vice versa. When you step out of work, you have no recollection of what you're doing in the office. And let me tell you guys, the way the story, the character development is such a unique television series. I can't commend it. I gave it 5 stars when it came out. Ben Stiller is the director of the series. And yeah, it's just a fantastic show. So yeah, I just thought I would share this because I'm super excited for Severance season 2, and I thought that the marketing for this is just pure genius. And I've actually got a video coming out soon, maybe in like the next week or two, in which I discuss Apple TV Plus as a streaming platform, because it's been out for some years now, and I'll give you a bit of a spoiler, but one of the things that I think Apple do well is their marketing. They're renowned for how they market their phones, their MacBooks, all of that stuff. But when it comes to their platform, Apple TV Plus, the marketing for their shows is just very strange. It's just like they just put it out there and they tried the whole, when you buy an iPhone, you get Apple TV Plus free for a year, and obviously as their budgets increase, they have to start cutting back on that. And I think now that they're not relying on people buying Apple products, and obviously now everyone's keeping their iPhone for many more years, their iPads and Macs and stuff, they're now having to start thinking outside the box again. And I think this is a result of that for Severance. And obviously, and also Severance came out in, I think, 2022, I want to say 23. So it's been about 2-3 years since season 1. So genius way, absolute genius way to bring it back to the forefront. Like I said, it's out tomorrow, so Friday the 17th on Apple TV Plus. And yeah, I can't wait for it, guys. All right, cool. Now, this is the final segment of tonight's show. Thank you very much for everyone sticking with me. We've got people in the chat. You know, each week, yeah, I love that you guys stick with me because we're growing as a community. When I first started, I was streaming to 1 person. Now we've got 6 in the chat. So, you know, we're growing. So I appreciate it, man. I really do appreciate it. All right, cool. So, actually, no, I can't play on IMDb because I got copyrighted. I'm trying not to get copyrighted here, guys. All right, cool. All right, so as I mentioned, I just came out of the cinema for the screening of The Wolfman. Yeah, I can do it like this. Yeah. Can you guys see that? Let me know in the chat if you can see that. Yeah? All right, cool. Perfect. So yeah, so I came out of the screening tonight for my first screening of the year, and that is for Wolfman, which is this film here. So this film is directed by Leigh Whannell, and it stars Christopher Abbott, Julia Garner, Matilda Firth, and Sam Yeager. And this is a reboot of the 1941 The Wolfman, a film that I've not watched that film, but let me know in the chat if you guys have watched it. And basically, it follows a man seeking to protect his wife and daughter from a werewolf, only to become infected and slowly transform into the creature. This is produced by Blumhouse Productions. So Blumhouse are very well known in the horror industry, not industry, in the horror landscape of things. They're behind Paranormal Activity, Insidious, Sinister, The Purge. What else they got? They got a lot. So yeah, this now comes under their umbrella. It's their first film of 2025, and I must say the first teaser trailer for this movie instantly grabbed me. I saw Julia Garner, one of my favorite actresses, and I was like, all right, cool. She's in a horror film. She doesn't normally assign herself to bad projects. Wolfman, the guy, transforming into a wolf. I like horror films. Blumhouse is behind this. This should be a decent film. And unfortunately, guys, this wasn't it. This film was not it. And normally they say, films that come out in January, not the greatest. But we had Nosferatu that released top end of this year. Brilliant film. So I was kind of, in the hope that this would be not Nosferatu levels, but an entertaining movie. And last year we had a string of great horror movies. So I thought this movie would continue in the same fashion. But unfortunately, guys, this for me, it's not it. This film is not it. And my main frustration with this movie is that I left the cinema feeling nothing. Basically, in the film, you've got Julia Garner's. She plays a journalist. She's married, and her marriage is not on the greatest of terms. And they set that very early on in the film. And as things develop in the movie, and by the time that you get to the end, you kind of think, why did they tell us this stuff at the start of the film? Because it meant nothing, or it was supposed to mean something by the end of the film. But to me, I just felt no emotion from that. She also has kind of like and again, I didn't really feel it, but she feels that she has a strange relationship with her daughter, where the daughter's more of a daddy's girl. Again, stuff that happens towards the end of the film doesn't really evoke any emotion. And yeah, it's yeah, and the thing is, I'll come out fresh out the cinema, and I should be having loads of things to say, but it's just like, no, like the film is about what, an hour and 43 minutes. It feels way longer than that because the story pacing of it is slow. I think the character interaction and the development of the characters could have been way better. And I feel that it's very rare that I say this, but this film could have done with more time. I think what they were trying to achieve, the hour and 40 minutes, was too short. And I feel if they have more time to the film, that they could have fleshed out a lot more, way more things, because you start the movie you start the movie with the main character growing up with his dad, and you see how that relationship unfolds, and then it time jumps like 30 years. So he's now an adult, he's got a kid, he's married, he's living his life. You start to see the relationship, between him and his wife break down and unfold. And then his dad passes away, and he's like, hey babes, we need to go and collect my dad's stuff. and that's how they end up in the woods. But I felt that from that one point to them going into the woods was too quick, and it felt like the film wanted to get to the Wolfman element as fast as possible. And I kind of feel that didn't do well in this movie. We needed to understand, well, for me, I needed to understand a lot more of the, why is the marriage breaking down? What is going, apart from one bit of dialogue, you don't really feel it. So the film is telling you that stuff is happening, but for me as a viewer, I was not feeling that at all. Also, I felt that the horror element to the film and the whole build up to, the final ending, again, it just you're anticipating this big finale, this ending, Wolfman chasing, all of this stuff, and it just felt flat for me. Like it just didn't do anything for me, and I feel that if the film didn't try and rush as quick to get to the Wolfman element, and it paid more attention to the characters and built that emotional string between all three characters, the string between him and his dad a lot stronger and a lot better, then this film would have been, in my opinion, way better, because it has all the elements in there for it to be a top horror film. But yeah, I just feel the delivery of everything just wasn't there for me. Even, Julia, who is a fantastic actress, again, it wasn't her acting, it was her character, the writing of her character just, for me, it was just boring. And yeah, I mean, there is one element that I do like, and that is with the Wolfman parts. They do this really cool thing where you get to see stuff from the perspective of the wolf. I thought that was a unique edge in the film, and I did like that. I didn't mind the final look of the wolf. I thought he looks cool. Kind of reminded me from the Thriller music video. But again, it just wasn't scary enough. And not all horror films have to be scary, but when you're watching this type of film, you want a couple of jumps. It's gruesome. It is gruesome. There are some gruesome moments that happen. But then even with the gruesome moments, guys, there's a lot of dumb stuff that happens. And I'm just sitting there and with my missus, and we're both watching it. And every moment we're just turning to each other, just going, is that really happening? Oh, is that? And once that happens, 4, 5, 6 times in the film, you just, yeah. And the daughter, I'm trying not to say stuff without spoiling the movie for anyone in the stream that wants to watch Wolfman. But yeah, overall, it felt like a decent streaming movie. I felt if I watched this on like a Netflix or, Paramount, one of those streaming platforms, yeah, I wouldn't be as harsh. But traveling to the cinema to watch this, I can't recommend this. I can't, especially when we've just had Nosferatu release, You can't bring out this type of this quality of movie when Nosferatu is an absolute banger, and that ticked all the boxes for being a great horror, gothic horror movie. Acting, character development, dialogue, cinematography, the whole works. Whereas this movie fails on a lot of those elements. So yeah, I need to get like a star rating live on air, because normally I pre-record my reviews, but this is the first time that I've done a live review. Unfortunately, there isn't much for me to say. I wanted this film to be good. I wanted to be raving about this film and speaking about it loads, but I just feel like I'm repeating myself. So I'm going to stop there. And yeah, my Lowery rating for Wolfman is a Lowery 2 out of 5 stars. So sorry guys, I wish it was better. But let me know in the comments, because this is going on my channel. If you're watching this after my live stream and you've watched Wolfman, let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on it. Do you agree with what I said? Or was this a good film, in your opinion? just let me know. But yeah, that is my review for Wolfman. And that takes it to the end of the show. What's good, Chicken Connoisseur's dad? Appreciate you joining the stream. I know I just got a notification. All you Arsenal supporters texted me the eyes. I had so many eyes. Oh look, Man United are losing. Guess what, guys? Guess what? What happened? What happened? And you know what? This is a movie and TV show. I mean, yeah, this is a movie and TV show. So I'm not going to talk about sports all the time, but I'm a Man United supporter. And yeah, I didn't watch the match because I was in the screening, but I'm going to watch the highlights later. But yeah, I think we won 3-1. What about TikTok? Oh, yes. Yes. Before I end, and for anyone watching this on TikTok from America, subscribe to my YouTube channel or my Instagram, because yeah, you guys won't be able to use TikTok as of Sunday, the 19th. So if you didn't know, the America is banning TikTok. Now, I thought this was, yeah, this was just a thing they say, and then, they'll come to some mediation of, someone will buy this, or, something will come out and TikTok will be fine. But no, America are sticking to their guns. TikTok are sticking to their guns, and they are both going their separate ways. So from the 19th, TikTok will no longer be available to American users. And I actually thought that if you had the TikTok app on your phone, you would still be able to use it. But no, it's going to be barred. It's going to be blocked from all internet providers. It's going to be blocked from the App Store. And this kind of lets me know, and it lets us know that, guys, they can get into your phone whenever they want, because if they can block an app, they can switch on your camera and see what you're doing. So, but basically, this is more of a political battle between America and China. And basically, long story short, America see TikTok as a spyware for China to the American people, because TikTok is used by so many people. There have been other instances as to why people think TikTok is being banned. You've got the stuff happening in Palestine, between Israel and Palestine, and you go on TikTok, you start to see behind the scenes, you start to see real life stuff that's happening on the ground. Sorry, you're seeing stuff in Yemen, Congo, so many atrocities that are happening across the world. And the bigger story is that news from your BBCs, your ITVs, your Fox, your CNN all go through the political channels, and it is screened, and unfortunately they do have a bias. So your news, the news that we watch, is in some way filtered to us, whereas with TikTok, it's unfiltered news. So you're going to see both sides of a story, and I don't think America like that. And especially with the stuff that America are involved in, and the things that they're backing, TikTok is a big enemy to them. It's not. I don't believe it's a spyware, but it's an enemy in which you can educate the masses from real people, real word of mouth, and you can't beat word of mouth in anything, in a review, in talking to people in general, or trying to to understand some way, something that you've seen. If you hear something from someone, you're going to believe that more than seeing that on the news. And I think that's what America are trying to block for their people, the word of mouth spreading for anything. We recently saw this with the CEO that got killed right outside of his office. you know, the the law. I can't remember his name. What was his name? Was it Luciani or something like that? Well, the person who killed the CEO, he, you know, this whole law came from TikTok. And then from there, I didn't know, and many people over here in the UK didn't know, is like the CEO that he killed, they're like, it's like the fourth richest company in America, and that's healthcare, private healthcare. Like, how is a private healthcare company the fourth richest company in America? It just makes no sense. And then you start to dig deeper and you start to see these companies not paying for certain procedures, or if they have to pay for certain procedures, they have to go through a long standing battle with the company and all this stuff. So this built up frustration is, you know, why the CEO unfortunately was killed. So yeah, so I think that is the main reason why TikTok is being banned in America. It'll be interesting to see if the likes of the UK follow other places. I think India banned TikTok. China has their own version of TikTok. There's also the recent Red Note app, which is making me laugh, seeing all the Americans flock to this Red Note app, which is similar to TikTok, but it's not. Its main purpose was for more educational purposes, whereas TikTok is, well, the American TikTok is for entertainment. The Chinese TikTok was actually also for education as well. But yeah, all these Americans are flocking to Red Note and basically trying to make a new TikTok with Red Note. And it's funny, like, you know, you'd never, you know, years ago, you would never think the American public would willingly use a Chinese app. Like, you know, it's just hilarious. So yeah, so if you're watching this on my TikTok and you're based in America, subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Instagram, because yeah, from the 19th of January, as it stands now, it could change Friday, it could change Saturday. I think Trump's officially in power next week, Monday. He could reverse something. I don't know. But yeah, as of now, TikTok is being banned in America, so you won't be able to use it. But here in the UK, we'll be fine, man. We'll be watching our memes and our cat videos and all of that stuff. So yeah. Any other questions in the chat before I leave, guys? And Alexa, they can. Yeah, everyone's listening in. All right, cool, guys. That is the end of the stream. I'm gonna be back next week, earlier, not as late. And again, thank you very much for waiting for me. But yeah, if you're in the stream, don't forget to like the video. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, man, thank you for joining me on this journey. And until next time, guys, peace.